Back in a jam-packed worldwide arena, tag team action as Disorderly Conduct, Mean Mike, and Tough Tom make their way to the ring.
And their work is cut out for them because tonight, right here on WCW Worldwide, Disorderly Conduct is going to be facing a reunited team. Meng and the Barbarian, they're back together, and they have the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, as their leader.
The first family, as they have been dubbed by Jimmy Hart. They are monsters. They have been unleashed, and Disorderly Conduct better watch it.
Scott, we're just a couple of weeks away from the WCW World Tag Team Tournament Finals. Of course, that championship match is going to be decided at Super Brawl, and Meng and the Barbarian being led to the ring by Jimmy Hart. Of course, they're part of the ongoing tag team tournament. It's a double elimination event. When you think back through the years, the tradition, the history of professional wrestling, how important tag teams have been, and I know you've been following this great sport for so many years. Think back to some of the great tag teams of the 60s and 70s and 80s that were such an important part of our sport.
Oh, you think about the great tag teams, maybe the Fabulous Kangaroos, Brute Bernard and Skull Murphy, Rip Hawk and Swede Hansen, taking it into the 1970s, the Anderson brothers, Ole and Gene, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. What a tag team they were. The Garvin brothers, Mr. Wrestling 1, Mr. Wrestling 2. For Eric Bischoff to say that tag team wrestling has no place in this sport is laughable. And Ric Flair realizes it. He knows what the Road Warriors, what the Rock and Roll Express, what the Fantastics, what the Midnight Express meant to this great sport. That's why we now have a tag team tournament.
I think it's all about perspective, and you and I can certainly appreciate the long-term aspects of wrestling history. When it comes to tradition and history, those are two things that the NWO just absolutely despises. And the NWO, I speak about Eric Bischoff being the leader of that organization, despite the fact that Ric Flair remains the president of World Championship Wrestling.
Well, the tyrannical reign of Eric Bischoff is over, and tag team wrestling is back in WCW. And Meng and the Barbarian may be the best tag team there is. They are in the tournament. They will have a shot to prove it as the tournament heads like a freight train to February 21st and the finals of the tag team tournament in Oakland.
As we closed out 1998, there were problems between Meng and the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
They were tag team partners for years, had quite a rivalry towards the end of 98, but may have been one of Jimmy Hart's New Year's resolutions that in 99 he was going to get these two monsters back together again, and he has reunited Meng and the Barbarian, and, well, we're what, just over a month into the new year, and they've been very impressive since that reunion.
Well, Jimmy Hart, as you know, has managed tag teams before all the way to the World Tag Team title. He thinks Meng and the Barbarian may be the next team he can guide to the 10 pounds of gold.
Jimmy Hart is the X factor on so many points. The pre-match strategy with these two men. Also, his opportunity to interject himself, to interfere in matches. And when you think about it, who else has been able to control Meng and the Barbarian other than Jimmy Hart?
Nobody has. Make no mistake about it. And we saw when Meng was unleashed, when he and Jimmy Hart had their falling out. Oh, hang on, power slam. But Tough Tom breaks it up for Disorderly Conduct. We saw Meng come in and put the tongue and death grip on cameramen, on security people, on wrestlers, for Pete's sake, if you can believe that. Probably wanted to put it on me and or you, and or Tony and or Larry, the way things are going, but we survived somehow. Now with Jimmy Hart guiding his career, we may feel a little bit safer.
Both men go airborne, both connect with a double diving headbutt. Meng and the Barbarian just totally dominating this tag team match on Worldwide.
Meng pulls Mean Mike up to a vertical base. Look at this! Just biting him right in the nose. Are you kidding me?
See that? He's just gnawing right across the bridge of his nose.
Oh, and Meng just uncorked into the gut. Knife edge chop across the chest. And another one.
Wow, you talk about an up-close and personal look out of the corner with our camera. You can even see the beads of perspiration still on the camera lens after that knife edge chop.
I'm letting you get away with that one. There's the tag made. to Tough Tom. Look at this, having no effect on Meng. None whatsoever. Sets him up. No go. Meng blocks it. Tough Tom trying to soften him up one more time. Can he get him? No. Oh, man. The headbutt from Meng. Oh, did that rock Tough Tom. Oh, and another knife edge chop. That echoes through this building. I'm not kidding. That is a serious chop. Shoots Tough Tom in. Backdrop into the Tiger Driver. Could it be the Tiger Driver power bomb? No.
Tonga death grip applied by Meng. Just
little
took him right
swerve.
down to the mat.
Barbarian had him set for the Tiger Driver, but Meng hit him with the Tongan death grip, and that will do it. Come on! Break it up in there.
Where's Jimmy Hart? Who's going to control these men?
There's Jimmy. That's going to do it. The First Family win it here on Worldwide. For Mike today, I'm Scott Hudson. Let's send it back to Tony and Larry in the studio.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for the call for our double main event this week on Worldwide Wrestling. Heading into Super Brawl, the head of the company, Ric Flair, the head of the NWO, Hollywood Hogan. There is no doubt two of the biggest names ever in professional wrestling will battle for the top prize on the 21st of February. The living legend, as the skirmishes continue, a word of warning to Ric Flair and WCW. You can't get any dirtier than the NWO. It seems every time that we try to do something to them, they'll trump it, they'll top us. And who knows what they have planned for Ric Flair, what they have planned for WCW in the weeks to come.
Yeah, well, you can't underestimate him. You also cannot lose emotional control. The hatred Ric Flair has to be controlled. I know Flair's wise enough to do it, but the New World Order already proved how low, how sneaky, and how shrewd they can be.
For the living legend Larry Zbyszko, I'm Tony Schiavone. See you in 1 week, right here on WCW Worldwide Wrestling.